Where are Charlie's parents? Who are Charlie's parents? I think that is a question that we have all asked. Matter of fact, let me just take it a step further. Where are his cousins?
Now she's saying that the kids aren't even Charlie's. So basically, Erica Kirk was left with no will money, no merch sale money, nothing. After Charlie Kirk was assassinated, he put that his children are going to get all the money.
So now it looks like Charlie Kirk's parents have officially stepped away from the custody fight with Erica. And people are stunned by the timing. This isn't being framed as them giving up or not caring. The talk online is that they walked away because an alleged DNA result changed everything overnight. According to the claims circulating, a DNA test reportedly showed they had no legal standing because the children were not biologically Charlie's. That's the rumor shaking social media right now. And while some viewers are shocked, others are saying the signs were sitting there the whole time. From the absence of publicly shared maternity photos to those oddly personal clips of Erica and her former partner that resurfaced online, critics have been connecting dots for months. For a long time, people questioned whether Erica and Charlie actually had children together, or if something about the timeline never fully added up. Now that Charlie's parents have stepped back and left Erica to handle the questions alone, the pressure is building fast. The narrative that once sounded solid is starting to crack under scrutiny. So the big question echoing everywhere is this: did Charlie ever doubt the situation himself? And if he had concerns, did he ever confront Erica behind closed doors? Here's where it gets even more intense. Some online commentators say Erica herself sparked the speculation during that widely discussed CBS interview. She openly talked about hiding during her pregnancies, and that single comment lit a match under the internet.
Hid. Not because I was embarrassed. Not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private.
The moment she said it, while people started asking why someone would need to stay hidden at all. Was it a simple misstatement, or was there more behind that decision? Nobody has confirmed anything officially, but the second those words aired, timelines, screenshots, and old clips started circulating like wildfire. The internet didn't just react, it went into full investigation mode. Erica's official explanation was simple. She said she kept her pregnancies private because she wanted peace and protection for her family. That was her story. But a lot of people online weren't convinced, especially when they looked at what happened after Charlie passed. Because once Charlie died, privacy didn't exactly seem like the priority anymore. Instead, Erica appeared everywhere. Interviews, memorial footage, social clips, all of it front and center. While critics pointed to the memorial where she posed for photos and gave emotional interviews, sharing intimate details about their life together. She even posted a video of herself and her daughter going through toys that supporters had sent after Charlie's death. Since that moment, many viewers say she hasn't stepped away from the spotlight at all. And that shift is what made people start questioning the earlier explanation. If privacy was so important during pregnancy, why go fully public afterward?
I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed. Not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private. But because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me. My baby.
That contrast is what fueled the speculation. Some began asking whether the pregnancies were hidden for reasons beyond privacy. Was it truly about safety, or was it about avoiding certain conversations and scrutiny from powerful people who might have asked uncomfortable questions? No matter how much she tried to shut the rumors down. But the questions kept coming. And the more people searched through old footage and timelines, the more complicated the picture seemed. One resurfaced ultrasound video especially sent social media into overdrive. On the surface, it appeared to confirm she was pregnant. But viewers zoomed in, and that's when another detail caught attention. The name displayed on the screen read Erica FPE, not Erica Kirk. That single frame sparked endless threads and breakdown videos. Because publicly, she has consistently referred to herself as Erica Kirk or Mrs. Kirk. So people immediately started asking, was that an old name, a technical error, a maiden name, or something else entirely? To be fair, ultrasound machines often display whatever name is entered at registration, and there can be harmless explanations. But online investigators didn't slow down for nuance. They treated that tiny detail like a bombshell, dissecting every pixel and timestamp. And in a case already filled with suspicion, even a small inconsistency was enough to keep the rumors alive and growing.
Yo, whose kids are these? Whose kids are these? Erica Kirk provided this as proof of where she was.
Since marrying Charlie, Erica has publicly gone by Erica Kirk and presented herself as a traditional Christian wife. That image became a huge part of her brand. So when viewers noticed the ultrasound screen didn't clearly show the surname Kirk, it didn't sit right with some of them. To critics, it felt inconsistent with the public identity she worked so hard to promote. From there, theories started stacking up fast. One online claim suggested she may have used a previous name on the medical record for personal reasons. And others went further and speculated that maybe the timeline of her relationships was more complicated than people realized. It's important to say, none of these ideas have been officially proven, but once the internet locks onto a detail, it doesn't let go. Then another clip resurfaced and added fuel to the conversation. A 2015 rally video showed Erica standing beside her former partner, Tyler J.T. Massey, at a public political event. What caught attention wasn't just that they were together, it was the presence of a young child standing between them. Viewers immediately began analyzing their body language, saying it looked familiar and close. Some described it as family energy, though that's purely interpretation based on a short clip. That single video pushed people to ask whether Erica had a previous family life that wasn't widely discussed before she married Charlie. Again, that's speculation, but online detectives were already in deep.
Hi.
Hi!
Good morning, America!
I've lived in China. I've lived in Chongqing. I've been to Romania. I've been in Croatia. Lived in Puerto Rico for a little bit. Really handsome.
You look gorgeous.
Soon after, old photos surfaced showing Erica with two different children. In one image, she's holding a young blonde girl consistent with what followers already knew. In another, she appears with an older dark-haired girl. The photos alone don't prove anything, but in the middle of growing rumors, they raised more questions than answers. And just when things couldn't get more layered, a 15-minute audition tape resurfaced, showing Erica and an ex trying out for The Amazing Race. The video wasn't new, but the timing of it reappearing made it explode online. Critics argued that it suggested she maintained past connections longer than expected. Supporters, on the other hand, said it was just old footage from before her marriage. What's undeniable is that once these clips and photos started circulating together, the narrative became more complicated. Every resurfaced video, every screenshot, every timeline breakdown added another twist. Whether coincidence or misunderstanding, the online speculation only intensified. In the audition video, Erica and her ex come across extremely flirtatious and physically comfortable with each other, trading suggestive jokes and playful energy that looks very familiar and routine. The vibe between them didn't read like two people casually reconnecting. It looked established and close. That tone alone surprised a lot of viewers once the clip resurfaced.
I will never forget the time I was in Israel with my husband. Well, that was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage. And I was standing in the ticket line. And I remember looking behind me, and in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was. And I told my mom, this guy looks so familiar. And as a typical mother, she said, go and say hi. No, we were late for our flight, and I'm not going to come off like a crazy person. That's just weird. That ended up being Charlie. Nothing is by coincidence. Now, did we know that no, not until we were like 3 months into our relationship and looking at timestamps.
What made it more controversial is the timeline people attached to it. Around that same general period, Erica had publicly described herself as single, focused, and committed to staying disciplined for her future husband, Charlie. So when audiences saw the chemistry in that audition tape, many felt the contrast was hard to reconcile. To them, it didn't look like a brief past relationship. It looked active and emotionally charged. Because of that, critics argued it seemed unlikely someone could close such an intense chapter and then fully transition into a completely different identity, the devoted traditional Christian wife, within just a few years. That perception was amplified by other resurfaced references, suggesting Erica dated more than one person during the years she lived in New York before marrying Charlie. None of those claims are confirmed, but the pattern people think they see is what kept the discussion alive. We've already touched on Erica's past with J.T. Massey, which online speculation often focuses on. What some viewers point out is that by Erica's own earlier descriptions, that relationship sounded deeply serious. She had referred to him in glowing terms, calling him an incredible boyfriend and her best friend. Those kinds of statements made people assume it wasn't casual at all. Then there were the polished couple-style photos of them together that looked very much like engagement portraits. To many observers, that suggested they were moving toward marriage. And that's why critics say the shift in her later narrative felt abrupt. From their perspective, it didn't look like a short relationship that naturally faded. It looked like a major life chapter that suddenly disappeared from the story. Whether fair or not, when audiences believed parts of that history were downplayed or presented differently later, it damaged trust for some viewers. Once credibility gets questioned online, every past clip and quote gets re-examined. And that's exactly what happened here. Now, this is where Charlie's parents come into focus, because ever since Charlie passed, one question kept floating around. Where was his family in all of this? People noticed almost immediately that they were not front and center at the memorial organized by Erica and the TPUSA team. That absence alone sparked quiet whispers that something behind the scenes wasn't right. In the weeks that followed, it didn't look like things improved. Publicly, Erica appeared to be leading the tributes, the interviews, and the decisions tied to Charlie's legacy. Meanwhile, his parents seemed distant from the spotlight. Online observers started asking whether there was tension building long before the cameras ever turned on. There were already rumors of friction between Erica and Charlie's family, and the optics didn't help. From the outside, it looked like Charlie's parents had to watch someone else take control of everything their son built. And according to speculation circulating online, they also struggled with limited access to the children, the last living connection they had to him. Whether that's fully accurate or not, that perception fueled emotional reactions from supporters. But then came another moment that critics say intensified the divide. Insiders alleged that a tent was reconstructed at the location where Charlie lost his life, and that people were invited to take photos there. That claim spread fast and stirred strong opinions. For some, it crossed a line. For others, it was simply part of memorializing a tragic event. But according to online narratives, that's when Charlie's parents allegedly began pulling back even more. And then the biggest turning point hit, the rumored DNA result. Once that claim started circulating, the tone shifted. Instead of fighting publicly, it appeared that Charlie's parents stepped away altogether. Supporters interpreted that as acceptance, a decision to focus on healing rather than staying in a battle that had become deeply complicated. But here's the part that keeps the conversation going. Despite the backlash, despite the online breakdowns and theory threads, Erica has continued forward publicly. She hasn't signaled any pause, any major shift, or any direct response tied to those DNA rumors. Whether she sees the claims as baseless noise or something else entirely, she's moving ahead with her narrative. And that contrast between silence from Charlie's parents and Erica's continued public presence is exactly why this story refuses to die down. At the end of the day, one thing a lot of supporters agree on is this: Charlie was a father to those kids in every way that counted. Biology aside, he showed up, he provided, and he built a future with them in mind. People close to the situation have said he worked hard to make sure they would always be secure, even if he wasn't there one day. That part of the story doesn't disappear. Where emotions really flare up is around what fans believe should be happening now. Many online critics argue that this moment should be about stability, privacy, and protecting the children while they process a major loss. For them, this is no longer just internet chatter. It's about real-life consequences and how adults handle responsibility during hard times. Erica, however, remains the central voice people are waiting on. She's the one who could clear things up, confirm facts, or shut down rumors once and for all. Instead, silence has filled that space, and silence always invites more questions. Whether she doesn't owe the public anything or whether there are things she simply doesn't want to address, that debate is still raging. Meanwhile, the children, who never asked to be part of any of this, are at the center of a storm they didn't create, and that's why emotions are running so high. People aren't just debating timelines anymore. They're asking whether accountability will ever come. The final twist? If Charlie's parents ever decide to step forward publicly, that could shift everything overnight. What do you think is really going on here? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone who's been following the story, and I'll see you in the next video.